Okay, so here's the application, Mole Mash, and it's just a little game that you try to, the mole moves around the screen and you see how many times you can hit it. You're going to want to download this picture of a little mole. You could use your own picture if you want, but if you want this picture, you can just, choose Save Link As and just, save it wherever you want to. I already saved it once, so. And then you'll have that picture later on when you need it. Okay, this is all kind of pretty straightforward. What I'm going to do in this video is just maybe talk about some things that you should be aware of, or some how to find things, and maybe things to make the coding faster. Okay, so always make sure that when you're following the instructions, you name the components as they do. I'm just going to bring this out here. When you pull a label on, they tell you to rename it. And so that's why this is called score label. So to rename any of these things, you just choose rename and put a new name on them. So make sure that they're named appropriately. That's going to help you when you get to the code part. Okay. There's also, they do use later on like a noise to make the phone vibrate. They haven't provided a noise, but if you want to try and find one and use it, you can. Otherwise, don't worry about that particular block. Okay. This is the first thing that I'm going to go in and demonstrate to you how to do it and where to find everything, because I don't think it's quite step by step. So I'm going to talk about this first procedure. I'm going to go into the blocks. And you can see I already have it written, but I'm just going to kind of do the same thing again. So this is where you make a procedure. And this is a do. So I'm just going to put it right under here so you can see it. Just going to move things around here. Okay, so the first thing they're asking you to do is set the mole X and Y coordinate. The thing that you have to make sure that you do is make sure you have mole selected over here. That's where you're going to find those. That's the object that you're working with. Let me just see. Set mole X. There we go. I'm going to pull that guy out there. Now this is a math equation. I want you to notice you've got the random fraction here. Then there's multiplication. Then it's going to take the width of the canvas minus the width of the mole, because that's how many, pixels it has in the X direction. So you've got multiplication and you've got subtraction. So I'm going to come over to the math. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose multiplication. And here I'm going to choose the random fraction that's also in math. And here you have subtraction happening. So again, we're going to go into math and you're going to pull out the block for subtraction. And then the first one is going to be my canvas width. So in this first one, you want to make sure that you select the canvas. And over here is the mole width. So you have to select mole. Okay. Now this is very similar to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let me actually put this in the procedure first. I'm going to right click on this. And then I'm going to say duplicate. Now this is very similar, but you could just make a few changes. You can select this drop down and choose Y, and you can choose this drop down and choose height, and the drop down here and choose height. And that's what that procedure looks like. Okay. All right. So Again, some of these are really pretty straightforward. Notice like if something is, maybe just, I'll try and do this one real quick. Let me just move things out of my way. Okay. Again, so you have a procedure here. And this time you're working with the score label. So you want to choose the score label. I'm sorry, set text. Okay. And the join, this is in the text, and you can always tell by the colors, right? If this is like, I don't know, it's kind of like a magenta color, but that's where you'll find the join. And two things, this is just regular text, right? So that's where you put regular text. You just move this in and then you just put, and then your get is in your variables here. So this is going to be get. When you choose get, you can just hit that and choose the drop down. Okay. And just a couple other things to kind of make things easier. So let me come to the mole and let me find when mole is touched. Now again, I already have these in here once. I'm just leaving them there to refer back to. Other things you can do, you can start to type like set, for instance, you'll see right here, set global score. So if that's what I want in here, I can say set global score. And if I click on this, oops, let me try that again. See, it actually creates that little block for me, so I can then move that out here. And then, get global score. Well, this is math, so let me go into the math, and it's addition. So I'm going to pull that out. Right, but I could say get global score, and I can then pop that in there. And then anytime you just need to use a number, if you go into math, see this guy where you have 0, that's just any number, so you can put it in there and you can modify it to whatever you have or whatever you need, right? Then I'm going to say call update score. And call move mode. So that just gives you some, where to look for things, how to look at the colors to figure out what to do, how to select what you're working with, and maybe some shortcut tips. The other thing, if you're having any problems connecting, just do reset connection. And like sometimes these guys get dimmed depending on what you're doing and it gets a little hung up. So just do reset connection. And try the whole thing again. And make sure that you're saving along the way, right? That's always important so you don't lose anything. All right, and I hope that helps.